Hey everybody, welcome back. It is 5.1. We get to start a little chapter 5 today. I'm excited. I hope you are. The reason why I'm excited, today we get to start fractions and fractions. Okay, adding and subtracting fractions are going on today. Gotta love fractions. Everybody loves fractions. Love them. Okay, very first thing I want you to do is I want you to simplify these four fractions. So pause your video and simplify it and see if you can come up with the exact same answer I come up with. Alright, so when I look at 2/12, that is 2/12, when I look at this, I can divide each of them by 2. And when I do so, I get 1/6. 12/15. I look at 12/15, again as a fraction. What goes into both 12 and 15? The number 3, which is 4/5 is going to be your simplest form. 18/27, you don't scare me. 18/27, when I look at that, I can divide each of these by what? 9, and I get 2/3. Last but not least, that wonderful 25/55. When you look at those, how do you break them down? I can break each of these down by the number 5, and I get 5/11. Notice the only one that could have been broken down into different parts would have been 18/27. I could have divided by 3 and then divided by 3 again. Either way, you should come up with an answer of 2/3. Awesome. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about adding and subtracting fractions. I believe you have all done this before, but we're just going to review it a little bit at the beginning of chapter 5 here. Very first thing, pause now, write this down. Okay, common denominators. To add or subtract two fractions with a common denominator, you need to find the sum or difference of the numerators over the denominator. You need to, once you notice that you have a common denominator, okay, once you notice that both of the bottom numbers are the same, you just add or subtract the top two numbers, or add or subtract the numerators. Let's try a couple. Okay, I want you to give this a shot. Remember, look at the bottom number. If the bottom numbers are the same, you just add or subtract the top number. Make sure you do simplify if possible. I'll walk this first one through. Okay, if I look at 3/8 plus 1/8, again, I notice that I do have common denominators. That always will become my new denominator. I will just bring that over, and now I simply add the numerators. 3 plus 4, 3 plus 1 is 4, okay, and I get the answer of 4/8. But, don't forget, we also talked about simplify if possible. From now on, if it says simplify if possible, you simplify it. If it doesn't say simplify if possible, still simplify. I want every fraction in the simplest form, starting now. When does it start? Right now. Okay, so if I look at 4/8, I know I can divide both the top and the bottom number by 4, and my answer is going to be 1/2. 1/2 is my final answer. So what I want you to do now is I want you to try this next one, 11/12 minus 7/12. Give this one a shot, see if you come up with my answer. Please pause. Alright, so if I look at 11/12 minus 7/12, the very first thing I look at, do I have a common denominator? I do. What does it mean to have a common denominator? It means to have the exact same number on bottom. Okay, that now becomes my denominator in my answer. I just keep that along. I don't take 12 minus 12. That denominator does not change. My numerators are the only thing that changes right now. I take 11 minus 7. 11 minus 7 is going to be 4. Now I think to myself, am I done? Am I done? Am I done? Nope. Okay, remember, simplify. Simplify. What am I going to do? Simplify. Okay, I'm going to simplify if possible. I can simplify here. I can divide both the top and the bottom by 4, and my answer is going to end up as 1/3. Fantastico. Awesome. Moving on. Okay, so now we're talking about different denominators. We just talked about common denominators. Now what happens if you have different denominators? When adding or subtracting with a different denominators, you absolutely must find a common denominator before finding the sum or difference. Simplify if possible. Okay, there's several ways you can find a common denominator. You can find the least common multiple. That's always a good way. So if you would like to, you can make your own t-chart. You could multiply those bottom numbers together, or you could try to come up with, if you know multiples, okay, you might be able to find a quicker multiple than just multiplying them together. So let's try a couple. So if I look at this, add or subtract, simplify if possible. All right, if I take 3/5 plus 1/2, okay, I'm looking at this, I can't do it. I cannot do that problem, and the reason why I can't do that problem is because I have 5 and 2 on the bottom. I need to have those to be common denominators. They need to be the exact same in order for me to add them. Okay, I cannot add them if they are not the same. All right, so if I look at this, 5 and 2, to me, the quickest fraction or the quickest denominator, the closest multiple that they have together is going to be 10. Okay, so essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these fractions from fifths and seconds to tenths. And the only way I do that is I multiply 2. Okay, so my bottom fraction is 10, and I'm going to multiply this one by 5 to get the bottom fraction of 10 as well. However, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So because I'm starting on this left side, that's 3/5, because I took that fifth and multiplied times 2, I also have to do that exact same thing with that 3. So I need to take 3 times 2, which is 6. Whatever I do to the top, whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. You need to keep these numbers. If you look at 6/10 and 3/5, what relationship do they have to each other? Think. They are equivalent fractions. Okay, so we need to find equivalent fractions to that answer, to that fraction. Okay, 1/2, I need to multiply the bottom times 5, which means I need to multiply the top times 5, and I get 5/10. Okay, so now I'm adding 6/10 plus 5/10. When I add those together, I get 11/10. Put that into a mixed number, and my answer will be 1 1/10. Okay. I want you to try this bottom one. See what you come up with for this bottom. Simplest form. Okay, give this a shot. All right, so hopefully you came up with the correct answer. We will check to see if you are right. Okay, if I look at 6 and 10, again, I need a common denominator on bottom. So what's my common denominator going to be? Well, I could multiply those two together, 6 times 10, to have a common denominator of 60, but I know that both of those have a common multiple that's lower than 60. That's going to be 30, okay, because I know 6 goes into 30, 10 goes into 30. Well, how many times can I get 6 into 30? 5 times. So my bottom number is going to be 30. I'm going to multiply my top number times 5, and the reason why I do that is why? You got it, because I multiplied that 6 times that 5. So I get 25/30ths. Equivalent fractions. Ooh, look how beautiful it is. It's so wonderful. Love fractions. Okay, we're moving on to 1/10. Okay, moving tenths to 30ths as well. Okay, how do you get from 10 to 30? I need to multiply by 3, which means I need to take 1 times 3. Why am I also taking 1 times 3? Because we need whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Okay, so my answer is going to be 25/30ths minus 3/30ths. When I subtract here, I subtract straight across the top. Remember, I keep my denominators the same. I don't subtract the bottom number. and I take 25 minus 3, which is 22. Okay, am I done? I hope you were thinking, no, Mr. Sheeman, you're wrong right now, you're wrong. Okay, that's what I hope you were thinking. But we know I am not wrong yet, okay, because I am going to simplify. I'm going to simplify this answer, okay? What can I simplify at 22 and 30? They are both even numbers. What can always go into two even numbers? The number 2. Dos. Well, bilingual going on in this pre-algebra class. Woohoo! Okay, when you divide 22 by 2, you get 11. 30 by 2, you get 15. 11 15ths is going to be your answer. Fantastico. Okay, we're going to have one more problem, and guess what? You got it. It's the long one. It's the story problem. Stretch out your wrist. You got a little time with this video format, so maybe take a break, go grab a drink of water, come back, write this down. Don't forget to come back, though. All right, pause now, write this down, okay? And I want you to try to see if you can come up with this answer. Okay, come up with this answer. Pause. All right, so as I look at this, it says before a rough piece of wood can be used in building a house, it needs to be squared off and sanded. During this process, the thickness of the rough piece of wood, which is 5/8 inch thick, is always reduced to 7/16 inches. Okay, how much thinner, shouldn't be thinned, how much thinner is the wood now? Okay, so we're going from 5/8 and we're reducing it 7/16. So what operation do you think we are going to use? That keyword, reducing. We're making a reduction, making it smaller. Okay, so when we make something smaller, we're going to be subtracting. Okay, so we're going to be subtracting, and when we look at that, it starts off as 5/8. It goes down to 7/16, and we are going to subtract here. Okay, if I take this, I have 5/8 minus 7/16. What's my answer going to be? Wait. I can't do that. Can't do that yet. Why can't I do that? I need a common denominator. Okay, so what's my common denominator between these two numbers? Okay, it could be, you could take 8 times 16, but that would require us to do a little simplifying in the end. Maybe not just a little, maybe a lot, which is fine. You can do that. That's perfectly okay. It just might be a little bit of a longer process. Instead, what I'm going to do is I notice 8 and 16 are compatible numbers together. Okay, and I know that 8 can actually go into 16. How many times does 8 go into 16? Twice. So if I take 8 times 2, I get 16 on the bottom. Okay, same, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top, which means whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top, and I am going to take 10/16 minus 7/16, and my answer is going to be 3/16. Am I done? No, I need to put inches. Okay, remember, it's a story problem. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you your homework. So here's your homework. Page 207 to 209, 2 through 36 evens, 42 through 45 all. I want you to show your work when it comes to looking at fractions that you need to find a common denominator. Okay, so here's your homework for the week for tomorrow. I hope you enjoy it. Enjoy homework. What? What are you talking about, Mr. Sheeman? You crazy. No, love fractions. Just got to enjoy them. Have a great day.